So one thing I think people need for core stability, they think a lot about their abdomen or the muscles of their back, but sometimes they often don't think about the role that the shoulders play in it. So many times people have lost the range of motion in their shoulders, and when they lose the range of motion in their shoulders, they will oftentimes compensate with movement of the spine. For example, circling the shoulders up, back, and down. So this is part of the shoulder circle variation that I didn't get to. So sitting with the spine upright, I'm going to sit facing the side so you can see what my spine is doing. If I have shoulder mobility, right, I can move my shoulders in circles without moving my ribs or my spine. But if there's limited range of motion, right, oftentimes folks will start to compensate with moving their spine and their ribs in particular with moving instead of moving their shoulders. So to have them start to work on loosening up the shoulders and isolating shoulder mobility is important. So shoulder circle variations are pretty simple. They're shoulder rolls, emphasizing going slow, elevation, retraction, depression, and protraction, or up, back, down, and forward, right? So nice, slow, keeping the spine stable. And then the variation is to bring the fingertips to the shoulders. Those of you that have worked a lot with me in class know this is one of my favorite ones, and this is where it really reveals. If your student doesn't have a whole lot of range of motion, they'll start to add movement of the spine here. So having your students have to engage their core stability in order to keep themselves stable here. So they're circling just the shoulders here. Right, so that's one thing of the stability. And then the other one was the push-up plus, or the shoulder blade slide. And that is specifically working on, I'm going to turn to face away from you, hopefully you can hear me, I don't have a microphone on, but to slide the shoulder blades together, which is retraction, and then slide the shoulder blades apart, and that's protraction. So a lot of times I'll have my students start with sliding shoulder blades forward and back, just sitting up, and then I'll have them bring their hands up and I'll have them do the same, right? So they can start working on the mobility, but then strengthening the muscles that do this, right? The rhomboids and the middle fibers of the trapezius do the retraction, and then protraction is pectoralis major and also the serratus anterior. So to start to build strength there, have them come into tabletop. And again, any version of tabletop will do, but including bringing the head into alignment. And again, I don't have my head in alignment because I want to be able to look at you and talk because I don't have a microphone on, is to have them keep their spine stable and retract and protract their shoulder blades. And what you want to watch out for is some students will start to round and arch their spine because this is what they know how to do in this kind of when they come to tabletop pose. So it's just the protraction and retraction of the shoulder blades. And then to advance this, it would be, instead of tabletop where you're bearing weight evenly on all four limbs, is to come into a kneeling plank pose and have them do all the alignment that they would need to do to maintain plank, and then same thing. And then the next is full plank, right? Without changing the alignment of the spine, including the neck and the head, and the position of the pelvis. So that is push up with active serratus anterior.